You're looking a little bit like a noodle. I thought that we'd do this next one to give you a little more gym-spiration. One more rep!
You ready? Yeah. What is going on, Impact Fit family? It's your boys, Coach Matt, Coach Sarge, coming at you guys with another Minute with Mats. Right? We're gonna try really hard to keep this one nice and compact. We have our first good question, brought to you guys by a member of ours, and she wanted to ask, what is better, eating high-fat foods, low-fat foods? Essentially, what strategy should you follow in order to burn more fat, get tighter, more shredded, all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Coach Sarge has some info for you.
Because I've recently, well, not so recently anymore, but we used to have presentations in boot camp, and one of them was about trap foods, and one of the slides in that trap food sections of the presentation was low-fat food. So this goes right into the question that our member asked. Now, it was like a bigger thing in the 90s where you would see a lot of chips, a lot of processed foods, like I think I use the example muffins, like mini muffins. Say right on the package, low fat, and it is a marketing strategy to get you, what's that?
A lot of dairy
Oh
things.
yeah, low fat dairy as well. And it is a marketing strategy to try to get you to buy that item just because it simply is going for the low fat option and making it seem like it's healthier for you. But it's really not. In the low fat sort of options, they have more processed, what's the word I'm looking for? Like processed.
Just fillers,
Yeah.
processed. There's a lot of
I can't think of the word.
chemicals,
Yeah,
chemicals and fillers. Yeah.
Artificial.
Artificial, yeah.
yeah,
So
a lot of
when
artificial things.
when you're removing fat from a food, how that process works, you have to replace it with something. Otherwise, I think the food just essentially like breaks down in a weird way. So
Right.
it has to be filled with something. And again, if anything says low fat on it, it's pretty much always going to be filled with stuff in there that's maybe not as natural to yourself or to your body as eating regular full fat. So
Yeah.
the long and short of it is, there is no such thing as a fat burning food. So the main part of the question from our client was, will eating full fat foods help me burn more fat? The answer is kind of yes and no. Like Sarge was just saying, sticking with the full fat version versus the low fat version, you're going to be getting a little bit more of a natural source of food, so it's better in that regards. However, fat is also very calorically dense, right? So it's really easy to overdo it. For instance, the example I always use is almonds, where almonds are obviously totally fine snack, but I think a portion of almonds is like 1 to 2 ounces, which is 150 calories. So you can take an ounce of almonds and really see how small that is, and then versus maybe just grabbing a whole handful of almonds. And a lot of people can trick themselves and say, hey, I'm eating really healthy. I ate a bunch of almonds for my snacks today. I didn't cheat and have chips and carbs and all the stuff. I stuck with the almonds. But again, if you're having a difference between an ounce or two versus a whole handful, I mean, that's the difference between 150 calories versus 400 or 500 calories. Because again, fats are so calorically dense. So at the end of the day, got to make sure you're sticking with your portion control. But as what should I, or which you would go towards more, I would say the full fat version.
Right, and kind of going off what Coach Matt just said, these are your coaches telling you right now to have the higher fat version. Just have whatever you want as long as it's in that 80-20 rule that we talk about a lot. Don't stress that you're always going for the lower fat option. Enjoy the food. So if it's a muffin, stop having the low fat muffin. Enjoy the real muffin, but just make sure it's in that 80-20 rule. And then really kind of go into the science part of what you were just saying is fats are very highly caloric. So just try to stick to the serving sizes, whether that be a healthier fat option or a not so good fat option. Just try and stick to a serving size. Again, fats per gram are extremely highly caloric. I think the breakdown is like 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, where protein and carbs are way on the lower end, like 3, 4, 5-ish.
Like 4.
Yeah, 4-ish. In that range. So just make sure, even if it's a healthier fat, we'll give them some options right now, like avocados, peanut butter, nuts, oils. Those are the sort of things that your body can really use to help you burn fat and build muscle. So stick to those things. But again, actually one of the trap foods that I talked about in the presentations was peanut butter. It's a great healthy fat, but again, a serving size of peanut butter is about that much, 2 tablespoons. So be careful with that because you can really add up calories quick.
And again, that's partly where people run themselves into corners with like, I just don't understand why I'm not seeing results, because you know, you can trick yourself into saying, hey, I'm sticking to the healthy things. I'm sticking to the full
To the
fat
healthy
version.
fats.
Yeah,
I'm sticking
to the
fats.
healthy fats.
Right.
But again, just like Sarge said, and just like I said about the almonds, you know, are you really having 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, or are you sticking the spoon in there and it's like this big heaping lollipop of peanut butter that you're kind of licking on for an hour? You know, like the difference in calories there is tremendous. And when you're only trying to be in about a 100 to 200 calorie deficit to lose weight, you know, you know, having too much peanut butter could wipe that whole deficit out right there. And then it doesn't matter how clean you ate that day, if you're in a caloric surplus, like, you're not going to lose weight, right? So it's really that easy to overdo it. So again, moral of the story here is high fat is in fact better than low fat, because low fat is filled with a lot of chemicals and fillers, and it's essentially just a marketing thing to help the you know, fitness and health uneducated person, you know, buy that food because they think it's low fat. That means I'm not going to gain fat by eating it. But in fact, that is not true. So stick with the full fat version, the more natural version. Just really make sure you're sticking to your proper portions. You're going to be good to go.
Yeah. Hope you got something out of this video. Let us know below. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and let us know what you want us to chat about next week.
Heck yeah. Keep those questions coming. We want to keep growing the Impact Fit family. So like Coach Sarge said, make sure you subscribe, and that way you don't miss a beat. Peace out. Boom.